Good evening and welcome to Talking Hoops. It's your girl, Coach T, joined by the lovely Coach Mac and our very own Talking Hoops celebrity, Coach Riley. And tonight, as you could imagine, lots to catch up on. Lots has been happening in the basketball community. As you guys know, I always like to start with big topics, but one topic I have to start with, which is a little different from our norm, but South Carolina women's college basketball, they finally had their streak snapped by Texas in a 4-point loss the other day where they only scored 62 points. I found that to be very odd and a very low score for a team that has such high offensive production and output. But first half, absolutely terrible. They have not lost a conference game since 2021. And in our group chat, Coach Riley made some interesting comments that I thought would be great to discuss and talk about. One, how do you think this loss impacts the remainder of their season? And two, what does this mean now that they've been bumped down to fourth place? What do you guys think their odds are of making it back to the championship game?
I
Riley, you want
think,
to go first?
well, first of all, good evening, ladies. Uh,
Hey,
oh, y'all
Hey now,
being nice
hey,
to me today. Okay,
hey
okay, y'all
now,
being
hey.
nice. I appreciate you all. But first of all, shout out to Coach Staley for doing an outstanding job thus far. She's really held the standard high for women's sports and, of course, men's sports, if you look at it that way. But I think that uh, anytime you have won as much as they've won and do it on a consistent basis, you become the hunted. And not only the hunted that everybody wants to beat. And every person in the country who has you on their schedule circle that date not only once, twice, but maybe three times. We have to be ready for this game. And I think they were somewhat vulnerable because they're doing too much in this perspective. Uh, I don't think that, and Coach Staley's an outstanding coach, but I think if you own a program of that magnitude, I think that you have to become obsessed if you're going to stay at the top because it's not about getting to the top. What's hard is maintaining or staying at the top. So that means you getting everybody's best punch for every night out. So I think they were vulnerable. They had a lot going on, and of course, Texas is no slouch, led by my homegirl Madison Booker. Yay, Mississippi! But uh, I think that you know they dropping them to fourth. It will kind of refocus them to the point where they can probably finish up strong and go ahead and finish this national championship. In my opinion.
agreed, Coach Mac.
One thing I've noticed about South Carolina for the past 2 years, whenever they're playing against competitive teams, that first half is always kind of sloppy.
Mm,
It's not their best, shall I say. I wouldn't necessarily say sloppy. So it's not their best. But
hmm
usually they end up pulling out in the second half. Well, when you play against a team like Texas, you can't come out like that. You got to be at your best first and second half. So I don't know what kind of adjustment that they would need to make. I remember her hearing I remember hearing her after one interview recently, actually, sometime last month. She made a statement about saying she don't know which team is going to show up. Whatever night it was, they played LSU. That's who it was. So when they played against LSU, I remember her just making a statement, because it was a different night than their usual. She don't know which team will show up. Is it going to be the team that's actually going to come out and be ready to compete, or is it going to be the team that comes out like they did in the first half, and then as you see the results in the second half? So when you have there's a lot that you can say and think about when a coach make a statement like that towards their team, but she knows her team in and out better than anyone else. So, and apparently she knows how to get the best out of her team. I mean, she's been successful over the years. And some can say her coaching style is a little bit different than most coaches. So I just think the concept overall is kind of different. But I do
hmm
notice that the patterns from the past 2 years, South Carolina can kind of come out not their best in the first half when they're playing against top teams.
Agreed, but it has cost them, as we saw that this is the
Hmm.
second loss that they've had this season, and one of those being to a still undefeated UCLA team,
Hmm.
where Lauren Betts, one of their star players, just decided that she will forego entering herself into the draft after this season and stay another year at UCLA. So, um, that will definitely bring potential duplicate season for them next year in terms of returning players and what the outcome might look like for them. So definitely wanted to start that. I mean, not losing a conference game in the last 4 seasons is just unheard of, right? That is just you just don't hear that often, but it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back. Which I wanted to jump into another big deal on the women's side. WNBA stars, players, as we know, have, like we talked about here on the show plenty of times, the Unrivaled League that was started by WNBA players and since has received lots of investors getting involved, which is similar to full court 3-on-3. The court is not a fully regulated size court similar to a regular basketball court, but still the concept of 3-on-3. And they've added a one-on-one tournament as a part of the league. And Coach Mac, we couldn't skip over this today because your girl, Miss MVP, okay, Miss Championship winner, MVP, star player Brianna Stewart went scoreless against Aaliyah Edwards. And again,
Rookie
shout out to Aaliyah Edwards, right? She is a phenomenal player and she deserves all of the recognition that she's receiving.
and a rookie.
And a rookie, okay? So we're talking about a baby here, right?
Yep.
She's still getting her feet wet on the professional level. And she beat Brianna Stewart, MVP. That was kind of debatable if she should have been the MVP that season. I know we talked about that on the show as well. And also championship winner. Went scoreless against a rookie in a one-on-one matchup. And one, I want to hear your thoughts on it before, but two, I feel like this is something that the NBA could add instead of wanting to add to the All-Star game 3-on-3 tournaments, instead of adding a 4-point line that they've thrown out there and all of this. What about some old school kings of the court?
It's funny that you mentioned that someone had stated that they don't think NBA players would dare do this because of their ego. It's playing against one on one. And I thought that was so fun. I was like, you know what? That's an idea that has not been approached by the NBA. So why not? But for Brianna, I love Brianna because she's UConn. She's my
Yes,
UConn family. But Brianna, come on now. Now,
scoreless. Not one
scoreless.
bucket.
Not one. And that's not to take away against from Aaliyah. She's a phenomenal player as well. But when I watched her play defense, it was almost just effortless. And I'm like, okay, what are we doing out here? Are we just out here for show? And this is your squad now. You're representing this. Now, I feel like it could have been a lot better. The one-on-one tournament, I'm kind of iffy about it. I watched it last night, and some of the competition was good, but then some
Hmm.
of it was like, it's okay. I think they probably could have done something a little bit different for the most part.
Hmm.
But I do like the 3-on-3 more so than I do the one-on-one.
That's fair. That's fair. Now, Coach Mac, I'm telling you right now, there's no way I win MVP and turn around and get goose egg against a rookie. Okay, it's just it's never going to happen that way. But they say that the NBA players will refuse this, and also even NBA coaches and the higher ups, because there's a chance that you will watch your star player get dragged by the 15th man on the bench
Very much so true. I can definitely see that happen.
in a matchup of one-on-one. But is it fair to say that just because you're an excellent one-on-one player does not mean you're a great five, full five-man roster out there?
No, no. Some people are better. with team players than they are individuals. So they don't have a strong one-on-one game, but they do well feeding off of other people. So
Now, what do you think is a better display of your capabilities and talent? And Coach Riley, you having extensive experience coaching and training at the pro level, um, I would love to hear your take on it as well. Of would you say that a better assessment of your skills and ability would show up in a one-on-one matchup, or does it show up better in a real life game?
Well, really, I thought y'all forgot about me. I thought it was an all women show for a minute there. Y'all just
Here he
talking
goes.
I thought you
open
was
up the
asleep
first
down
two
there.
minutes talking about women's sports. I mean, what's the deal? Come on, what is this, a partisan or bipartisan? What's really going on?
We trying to get
My
you to wake
God.
up. You look like you was asleep down there. So now we
No,
waiting on you
I
to
was not asleep. I was about to go to sleep because y'all got boring. I mean, my goodness. I mean,
answer.
come on. Well, to answer your question, I think you can get a certain, I guess when you're evaluating players, I think that individual skills, once you see what a person has, it kind of fits, and you put a team together based on individual skills of each player. And it gives you somewhat of an indicator, but it doesn't measure the toughness level, the teamwork level that a person possess. You don't know if they really really a team player until you put them in that team concept. But you can find out a little information, just skill wise, on what a person can do individually. Even if they have competition, you can, you just never know, because when you put eight more guys on the court, I just think it's you talking about IQ level. You think about seeing two and three plays ahead, seeing things before they develop, and things like that. From the guard and from the forward level. So it's just so many other things that you can do from a team perspective. Although individual, you can see, whether or not he could go both ways, whether or not he could shoot, I guess, uh, you know, uh, just basic stuff you can find out on an individual skill level. But
Riley?
let's talk about the men. Let's talk about some men a little bit. Don't just make it all about a women's show.
Oh God, it's only 13 minutes in the show, and you starting.
13 minutes in the show,
So
Coach Matt. Go get the red nose,
I
okay?
mean,
Because he ready to clown already, okay?
so Roddy, let me ask you this question because I had a thought about this, and this is pertaining to high school basketball. And I noticed that at least when I was in high school, obviously when you were coaching them, playing against each other
I
one
was
on
cold
one,
blooded too, Coach T. Didn't All I did was win. But go ahead, Coach Matt.
let me clear my throat so I can finish saying what I was trying to say. But
Okay.
no, one of the things that that we did in practice was one on one, play one on one. And I noticed in high school that's something that practically exists. Do you think that's something that players should do more now to work on their one on one skills? Or would it be beneficial at all for them to even just implement that in practice so they can improve that skill?
Well, that's really a broad question, but I'm gonna try to narrow it down. Uh, and I'm gonna mean this in all seriousness. I just think that what they practice on now is strictly the game is so selfish now. It's all about one on one.
True.
You find very few teams that have a team concept. Even you talking about the league. Uh, if it's not a pick and roll, that's a selfish act. I mean, it's a two-man game, but it's selfish because the guy that's dribbling is going to look for himself first. Most
Mm,
guys,
mm,
and then of course, uh, in high school, I would say he or she has to work on their individual skill set to actually hone their skills, to teach them how to play, depending on what it is, how to play an individual game, whether you're in the post, and it makes a wing or a guard, and it makes the team that much more powerful if you got multiple players that can play individual games. But what makes them really powerful is if those players who have honed their skills or sharpened their skills individually can put it within a team concept. And case in point, Duke Blue Devils play outstanding team basketball.
mm,
Kansas Jayhawks. So once you develop your individual skills. And of course, as I alluded to earlier, you talk about now if I'm really good and if I can put it in a team concept, if Coach T and Coach Mac playing on my team, if I have a wide open shot, but then Coach T is on the other wing and got a shot that's more wide open, I'm gonna take this and make that extra pass to make sure that team concept, and that's what championship basketball is all about. But I think sports has went so far away from that because it's all about clicks and likes and Instagram followers and TikTok followers and this, that, and the other. So NIL and followers and money and all this kind of stuff. So the team concept is not on the forefront anymore. Well, for most teams, it's not.
Yeah.
High
No,
school or pros.
you make a great point. It's really turned into highlight basketball.
Yeah,
It's all about the highlight reel, right? That what clip you have that can make you go viral. And
hmm
that it's a popularity contest and not a skills contest. And that's the problem. But speaking of skills contests, let's jump into discussing the biggest trade, well, what will go down as the biggest trade in NBA
Yay!
history. And Coach Mac, I didn't want to lead with this because I know it might be a little touchy, a little sensitive. For those of you out there watching that don't know, Coach Mac is a huge Dallas Mavs fan. So she has been hit hard by the travesty of the decision made by Dallas ownership to trade Luca in exchange for AD. And let me start by saying this. AD's first game with the Mavs, he jumped out there and had 31 minutes of play, 26 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 blocks, and unfortunately had to leave the game early due to a non contact injury, which looks like it's an adductor injury
Mhm.
that he is dealing with and probably has something to do with coming back a little earlier after straining his abdominal muscles, as those are heavily interconnected. But I still want to give AD his credit for his debut game, okay? Because AD showed up and showed out. However, what we talk about all the time and what we talked about last week is that AD is they traded one Embiid for another Embiid, except one of those Embiids is still only 25. And I just want to know, Coach Mac, how are you feeling over there first? We'll
Oh
start
my
with,
goodness.
we got to check in with her, Coach Riley. We got to make sure she's doing all right over there.
We
We got to
not doing
check
all right.
in for.
We
Sinus
not
accident.
we not doing all right. We got people getting carried out the game because we telling folks to fire Nico. They wanna escort us out. So now they get mad. Even even at SMU, they chanting fire Nico. Like we want him to get out. Even the governor, please let him go. And speaking of that, oh, see, I'm already getting touched into my feelings. How you get somebody who's married into this now, knows nothing about basketball, but yet y'all let him make a sound decision to trade your top player? Please make that make sense to me. Nothing.
you
Well,
know,
well, first of all, Coach T. First of all, let me. We all are beefing tonight. Y'all want to team up y'all want to team up on me, but that's okay. First of all, you giving Anthony Davis credit for what?
for his first
He
performance.
he had a good performance.
He
Did
had
Although
a
he
he
great
finish?
went down,
performance.
Did he finish the game?
Now,
did he finish?
we weren't talking about that. We were just talking about the performance, the
Did he
stat
finish
line.
the game?
Well,
I told you all.
first off,
He
we
he.
knew we knew it wasn't gonna be long before he was gonna be out with some kind of injury. We said that since
We
day
knew.
And
one.
you know what? The crazy part about it is this: what hurts even more, not only did you make the trade, but now Luka's over there getting off, and Anthony Davis is sitting on the sideline.
I'm talking about just smiling over there, cheesing,
I mean,
happy,
he hasn't
happy to be
stopped
there.
cheesing yet, Coach Mac. He's smiling at the free throw line.
Man got his number on the Hollywood sign. How you not be happy? I'm just saying.
I mean, I was almost a Laker fan.
I'm
Uh,
about to be one.
I was almost a Laker fan until that conversation this morning.
Oh, here he go. Here
What you
I'm
he
not
say?
gonna
go.
bring it up.
Don't bring it up. Don't bring it up because I'm about to skip right on past it. So because we still got more to
But
get into.
anybody who says that LeBron is better than Michael Jordan is delusional all the way.
Okay, so you're talking about a lot of players in the league. You're talking about coaches. You're talking about Doc Rivers. We talking about multiple people here.
I want you to do your research, Coach T. Don't be done with this one. You and Coach Mac, y'all compare y'all notes and get them together. Whomever says that LeBron is better than Jordan, they've never been a champion. They always have been hating for most of their lives, and they are nowhere near good as Jordan. Whoever said that, look at. I guarantee you, all of them got similar. All of them hate Jordan.
No.
No, you can think that LeBron is the better version of Jordan and not hate Jordan.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna give you this. And Coach John and Coach Dallas. I mean, not Coach, but Dallas John said he is. So I'm gonna say this: LeBron James is the goat of 40-year-olds. Period. I give him that.
Whatever you have to tell yourself, Coach Riley, listen, I'm with all of it, okay? We accept it here. This is a safe space here on Talking Hoops. So, with that, because you see what people don't know and you guys know this, but what I'm going to let the fans know if they don't know already, but the Mavs approached the Timberwolves and approached the Bucks to get rid of Luca. And I, the Giannis, the Bucks, they said absolutely not. Even though we know he may not have a future here after this season, there's no way we're going to trade Giannis in the middle of the season for Luca. And same with Anthony Edwards, rightfully so. Why would we give up Ant Man, who's 23, rising star, doesn't really have any issues with injuries, could probably use a little bit more help down there, but still, why would we get rid of him? So, really what we could say is that Rob Palinka tricked, well, I don't know if he tricked. Let me see. He played the Mavs out of Luca in exchange for AD. And let me tell you, he ran so much game that what people don't know is that Dalton Connect was supposed to be a part of the trade deal with AD. Okay. He was supposed to be trying the trade deal. And Rob Palinka said, hold on, hold on. Didn't you say there's a concern with Luca's conditioning and and where he's at physically? That's a big concern. And we're saying, hey, we're still gonna take him, relieve you guys of having to be responsible for $354 million. And hey, we'll take him. Don't worry about it. But Dalton, y'all can't get Dalton. Y'all can't get Dalton because you said Luca's conditioning is a problem. And Nico sat up there and said, okay. And he took AD in exchange for Luca. The worst trade in trade history for the Mavs. Now, Stephen A. Smith made comments and said the Mavs are done. The season is over with. The Mavs are done. Do you all concur? Because the diamond in the rough in this whole trade is Max Christie.
Yes, sir.
Max
Yes,
Christie
ma'am.
has been absolutely balling for the Mavs since the trade.
Max Christie is old. The Mavericks are done.
Max
Kyrie is
Christie. Oh,
selfish.
Max Christie
AD
not
is
old.
soft. Max Christie. Max Christie.
Yeah, Max
yes.
Christie is like this is second year or third
I
year.
think so. He was in the G League first.
Yeah, he was in the G League first.
That's
He's
right. That's right. So y'all
Max
been
Christie
waiting
young.
on G League players.
now he was hooping with the Lakers before they traded him, which the
He
way he
was.
was performing increased his trade value, which allowed them
So
to talk them off the hook for Dalton Connect. Ain't no way.
so so what you're telling me is this. You said it though, Coach T. You're very smart. This is what you said. Nico got played. I mean, you said
Period.
it.
Point
He got
blank.
played. He's inexperienced. The new ownership doesn't under. I mean,
They
they
don't
have
understand
They don't
basketball.
know what's going on. They
they
just
don't
out
know what.
there.
I wanted to be nice. I didn't want to be me. I wanted to be nice.
They just
So
out there.
you're right. So, but you said it, Coach T. They got played, and who in their right minds? I mean, Anthony Davis. Come on. I get Dwight Howard first with all that bagging he got going on. I give me Dwight Howard.
Stephen A is a clown, said by Mama Davis. And Mr. Johnson said Christy just turned 22 on Monday.
He sure
Okay.
Yeah, I was
did.
So
thinking about
he's
another. I was thinking about somebody else. Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
You're right.
Mm.
yeah, you
Yep.
thinking
But
about the old Christy, Sacktown Christy.
he's still a G League player. You can't win with G League players.
Huh?
Mm.
We huh?
It's not
They
but
can.
one. It's not but one now, Coach T and Coach Mac. They come from
Now
the G League that's balling.
now this is the question though. Is it over for the Mavs? And let me ask you this because we still have to remember Gafford is out. He's
Mm-hmm.
not going to be reevaluated with his knee sprain until another 2 weeks. So
Lively is out.
Gafford is out, AD is out. You have outside of Kyrie and partially Clay, you have a team full of outstanding role players. Is it enough
Nope.
where they can get at least to be a part of the plan? Or Coach Mack, I'll let you go first. This is your team. Is
Mm-mm.
it over with?
Nope. Yeah, it's over with. Unless
Oh,
we get in some other major trade to come in, hopefully we can get KD. Don't know what the chances of that is, but that wouldn't be to the summer anyway if we did. But other than that,
hmm
no, is that's a wrap.
Coach Riley, is it over with for the Mavs?
Well, it depends on what you mean over with. You talking about a championship? You can't be talking about a championship.
Oh no, that's not in the talks right now.
That's not the
What?
talks, but for them to make, the top 8, let's just say to make top 8, is it done? Are we not gonna see a playoff run from the Mavs?
I don't think you'll see a playoff run from the Mavs. Now, what I do think you'll see some good games from Kyrie,
Yep.
Yep,
and that's about it.
that's about it. Okay, it stops there. Now, next person I wanna move on to because I just found it very interesting after they joined a new team, made some comments saying that I have zero limitations, I'm 100% healthy, and I'm ready to go. And it feels good to play somewhere where you're actually wanted. And this is Ben Simmons. Okay. So the Brooklyn Nets decided, hey, you know what? We rather just not have him at all. We'll buy you out of your contract and you can just be a free agent. And so they did. The Clippers have decided to pick him up, which, for those who don't know, and for those who did not know about Ben Simmons prior to his downfall, this was the player they were comparing to LeBron James. This was supposed to be the next LeBron at one point. And now he is saying, after all of the turmoil with Philadelphia and with the Nets, I'm perfectly clear and have zero limitations. What do you guys think this means for the Clippers? And do you see Ben Simmons coming in having an impact?
Coach Angel, yes.
I feel the same way about him as I do AD. I gotta see.
I gotta see. That's
I gotta see.
that's
I'm gonna
fair.
be honest. I'm gonna be honest, coaches. I'm gonna be honest. One of my former players, Coach Mac, coaches at LSU, right? Where Ben
Hmm.
Simmons
Jalen.
played.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Jalen.
called Jalen. I said, Jalen, can y'all get Ben Simmons to come back to college? Because he not think about it. He not doing anything in the league. Just let him go back to LSU and play. He can help them out, you know. But he's terrible. He's terrible. And it just say I think the Clippers have a dark cloud over their program. They need to
Mm.
move somewhere. They need to move to Las Vegas, or they need to move to somewhere. They need to move. They need to move. Get out of
Mm.
cap.
Now, what makes you say Dark Cloud? Because they haven't won anything, or what do you think is it about the Clippers?
What have they ever done?
Personnel, game, all the above,
They
management. I
always hurt.
mean,
They
yeah,
can't win. They win a few games, get to the playoffs. Then my guy, what's his name? The one that doesn't talk. Do commercials, don't
Kawhi.
even talk in commercials. Kawhi, Kawhi is, I mean, I, in order to be a franchise player or a superstar, you have to play night in and night out. That's
Mm-hmm.
one of the things. It's not but two things I like about LeBron, but that's one of the things I like about LeBron. He attempts. He don't play every night, but he tries to because he spends over 2 or 3 million dollars on his body every year. So he tries to play every night, although he's not that successful. and he don't take the game winner at all, but he tries to play at least, you know. So
He
Now
he,
is
try, he tries is the key word, by the way.
yeah.
there you go. But
He
that's
just
your favorite player, Coach T.
my favorite player is actually not LeBron. LeBron is a close follow up though.
Who your favorite player?
Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh yeah, you did tell me that.
She
Yeah,
told you she had the shacks.
yeah, that's right.
You forgot already. I had the straight Shacks, the all black joint straight out of Walmart.
I tried to forget that one because nobody wear post player shoes. Nobody. Don't ever don't do that. Do
I
not
was
do
a
that.
post player back then though. So to my credit,
Coach T, Coach T, don't ever tell anybody that again. Do not wear post player. Put them in a frame and put them in your house.
listen,
There you,
don't be
there you,
discouraged for those listening that like some Shacks and got some Shacks. Don't be discouraged, okay? As long as they lace up and you can run up and down that court. Listen, they used to hoop in Converse back in the day. Those aren't even
Ooh.
come on, these are walking shoes. Converse aren't even walking shoes. So, anywho, if you got your Shacks, keep on rocking them. They still sell them, by the way. Now, speaking of players and favorite players, Coach Riley, your favorite player has made the reserves for the All Star game. We talked about him possibly getting cheated out of it, but it looks like Trey Young has made the cut for the All
I
Star
heard.
game
Let
this
me tell you
year.
what I heard. I heard Coach Mack went to Atlanta, begged them to ask for little Trey to be in the game.
And
Please let Trey
Kyrie.
get in the
And
game.
Kyrie. Don't forget about my
And
And
don't
Kyrie.
and
Kyrie,
don't
girl.
forget Kyrie. Yes,
I,
Kyrie
I,
did
I
make
think that was good for Trey. I think that was really good. I think that was really good.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's been long overdue for him to have an opportunity. So excited to see that now. Because we have to touch on the trades and what things are looking like. Jimmy Butler joining the Warriors. What do you guys think about their so far they're 2-0. They may be playing tonight, I'm not sure, but since Jimmy Butler has joined the team, they are 2-0. And what I see being very successful for them in the games that I watched, Jimmy Butler's setting the on-ball screen against for Steph.
Mm-hmm.
And where they saw a lot of success is that teams in the game doubled Steph, which allowed Jimmy space to operate, find the open man, et cetera, et cetera. What are you guys' thoughts? Is this a good trade? Do we think that something good will come for the Warriors with having Jimmy Butler added to the roster?
Riley. Your face look like it's saying your
I'm
face look
trying
like
to
it's
say
saying it all.
I'm trying to say something good. I'm happy for Jimmy. I'm happy for Jimmy. He found him a home. But anybody can play with Steph. I mean, anybody. You can get. I mean, you don't have to have a lot of skill. I mean, their game doesn't match, but he could be
At
effective
all.
playing with Steph. So I think. I mean, I'm happy for Jimmy that he's happy.
Okay. That's fair, Coach Mack.
I mean, I think it's a start for the Warriors. I
A
don't think it.
start? Mm.
Yeah, I think it's a start for them. They're still missing some pieces, but hopefully, first off, we got to see how everything's gonna mesh with Draymond. That's the first test. Now, they seem like they're gonna be some team players. Jimmy made a in his press conference. Just get a ball to Steph, and he gonna move out the way. So he seemed like he's gonna be a good team player, but we'll see. It's just a matter of how that chemistry is gonna play out. That's what I'm interested in seeing because Steph is usually have the ball all the time or just running all over for the most part. Obviously, Draymond has his unique role, so it's kind of like, okay, well, where would Jimmy
What is
just really fit?
Yeah, that's where
So
I'm
it's
having
a
a hard
start.
time.
Yeah, it's a start. So we'll see how the chemistry and everything
I'm going to
plays out
watch.
amongst all
I'm
them
going to
three.
watch after the 10th game. I'm gonna give
That's
them
a good.
10 games and then start watching.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That
it's
I
gonna take
think
that
that's fair.
much.
They have a very different game. So I
Yeah.
am, and the Warriors don't shoot mid-range. Like mid-range is
Mm-mm.
not their preferred option is layups or threes, right? This is the new style though. Across the board, even at the college level, right? So and Jimmy is the mid-range king, right?
Yes.
He is a mid-range specialist. So it'll be interesting to see how they are able to conform to some of Jimmy's game as well too to create that success. I don't know if Steve Kerr has the coaching ability to do so.
You
Mm,
hear? See, you on again tonight. That is so profound because these coaches, Coach Staley, Coach Kerr, anytime you got horses in the stable that's thoroughbreds, it's easy to coach. But
Mhm.
now, when you got Jimmy Butler with all that drama he has going on, and then you
Mhm.
got Steph who's gotten older, although he's still
Mhm.
effective. You got Draymond crazy, and then you don't have what's go beyond that.
yeah.
So they'll win a few games. They'll beat who they're supposed to beat. Like your team, Coach T, y'all was excited about beating Utah Jazz. I mean, what? I mean, I didn't understand how y'all was so excited. I
No, we're
mean,
not excited about that. We
oh
were
yeah,
just so we were
And
excited
Luca.
to see the official reveal of Luca in that Laker yellow in that jersey. That's what we were excited about. That was
okay.
just a warm up game. That was just a warm up. His first game, we know Luca was like a deer in headlights. Still
Yeah.
couldn't believe he got traded, which I rightfully so. And but now he's under the bright lights, and we'll see how he steps up and performs. For me, what will be the determining factor if Luca is really ready for that next level? And Coach Mac, I've mentioned this before. All that crying that he does, that brings me to a totally different level of frustration when I see all that
But
crying to the ref, all that all of that, like,
But you know
play
what?
you know
I
what?
feel like that's
Coach
gonna
T,
change. I feel like that's gonna change simply because of the role that LeBron is gonna play in Luca's game. I feel like we're gonna see a different Luca. He's gonna evolve into a different player. Not saying that he's gonna change from what he is, but I do think there's gonna be some positive effects that will occur from him being at the Lakers.
all I'm gonna say, all that sounds good. He better stay away from Kim Kardashian. That's all I'm gonna say.
Look, I already told you, baby mama ain't going.
You better call him. You better
Baby mama
call him
ain't
and
going.
tell him L.A. is not nothing like Dallas. So,
I
no.
already
Okay,
told you. Baby mama said
okay.
she ain't going. She been put in that work in that time.
Hey,
She
the
wish a
work.
Kardashian would.
Now,
Kim Kardashian's a straight G now. She a gangster now. I'm telling
Oh,
you.
okay. We gonna see what that Slovenia come out
All
looking like.
right.
oh my gosh. Well, again, back to the Lakers, because there is another issue that occurred after the show last week where a trade was supposed to happen with the Charlotte Hornets Mark Williams, and the trade of Dalton Connect, and who else was supposed to go with Dalton? Uh Drawing a blank on who else was supposed to go, but Dalton being one of the big players of that trade. And Mark Williams, a 7 footer who's been playing decent basketball in these, let's say, last 10, 15 games for the Hornets, the trade was rescinded and did not go through. And the biggest reason being is that Mark Williams did not pass the Lakers' medical evaluation. So, right now, the Hornets are trying to contest and ready to pursue action against the Lakers for the trade not going through. And the Lakers said, hey, we see y'all trying to give us a lemon. We're not letting go of Dalton for a lemon. And now, on the flip side of that, Dalton Connect told JJ Redick, I'm not ready to play yet as I'm still trying to process everything. I wanted to get you guys' thoughts and your comments on this entire situation.
For Dalton to make that comment so early, I don't know how long he's gonna be able to last. Because
It's,
that's the game. You gonna get traded at any time, any moment's notice.
Well,
So
that's not the problem, Coach Mack. I think the problem is he was okay with getting traded,
he
but now,
was.
but think about this. It's kind of like if I got a girlfriend and she show me that she don't want me, and I go to, okay, maybe you can go to this girl, okay, and then the other girl Somehow I don't. She don't want me either. Then I had to go back to this girl. Man, come on, that's a lot to process.
It is.
The
But again,
Connect has to. The people in the locker room looking at him like, "You
dang, I
back?
thought you were gone.
I thought you were gone." I mean, that's a bad feeling.
It
And
is.
then
I totally agree.
in his mind, you don't want me. So it's
Yep.
hard to be in a situation when you not feel wanted or feel that you don't matter. So especially when you've been balling. So
Yeah.
right now in his mind, he's saying, "Man, y'all playing games." So he's frustrated and perplexed that he can't figure out. You drafted me early. I'm been balling. I'm playing with LeBron. LeBron likes me, and then you trade me, and then after trade me, then I got to come back. Come on, man, that's tough. That's tough.
It is
That's tough.
it is tough, but again, it's a business.
Listen, young buck. Listen, go out there and
Hello.
hoop and get your money, okay? Leave your emotions at the
Thank
door.
you.
And this is what the players in the NBA have been trying to say for years, that they can just do what they want to us and change the whole path of our career just like that. But we're
Yep.
expected to stay loyal to an organization that's willing to trade us at a moment's notice. Listen, put your head down, go out there, hoop, and get your money. Because on the flip side of that, would you rather be bought out your contract and just let go and be a free agent and figure it out, or would it does it feel good to know you have value as a
Mhm.
player to be able to keep going to go who it's the business side. Dalton Connect was trade bait for the Lakers, let's be honest. I
But
Yeah.
think
Coach T, let me ask you this, and you have to agree with me, and Coach Matt going to agree with me as well. When you played, you had the biggest ego. Like, I'm cold. I know I got it going on. Am I right, Coach Mack? Did you have that ego?
I mean, to an extent. But
yeah.
if I know, but
Yes.
here's the thing
Coach
though, if
T,
I know I'm part of a
uh-uh,
program where I can be gone
we
at
ain't talking
any
about that.
moment's notice, that's a
Did
different
you have
feeling
an
there
ego when you played?
No,
because
I
I
didn't.
know I'm not going
Yes, you,
anywhere.
Coach T. You just bragged about your shack that you wore that you served in. I
That
mean, come on now. So my point
listen.
is, magnify that times 25. When you got Dalton Connect, he's a lottery pick. His ego has been tampered with. A man, and see, y'all don't understand a man's ego. I mean, John Lucas said it best. If you got a NBA player that's supposedly a superstar, and if you're not the A word, then I mean, you're not worth your salt. You have to have that ego. So his ego has been hurt. Uh
So let me say this because you got to understand the difference between women's basketball and men's basketball too. Because look how the
oh
trade is
my
going.
God.
No, no, no. Listen to what I'm saying before you jump to conclusions. Look at how the trade is going on the women's side because you got women that's wanting to be traded from left to right simply because of the way the dynamics is of the team versus on the men's side, player like Dalton Connect, did he really want to get traded? No. But did it happen? Yeah. So now it's like he's in his feelings. So again, the dynamics of it is different for the men's side than it is for the women's side.
That's a great point, Coach Mac, because
Yeah, a lot of better pregnant women in there.
I don't see myself getting in my feelings
Right.
when I'm
It's
making
different.
millions. I'm crying in millions, okay? I'm crying in hundreds, okay?
Coach
So
T,
I
you can't tell me that. When you I'm telling you, think about this. You didn't play.
We're not saying that he shouldn't feel or that he won't
no, that's
feel
not
it. But
that
what
has
we're saying is this is a business. You got to
lace
get
them
out your
shoes
feelings.
up. Come on, lace
Yes.
those shoes up is what
You
I'm
So
got to
think
get
saying.
out
about
your
this.
feelings.
Think
It's
about
no
this.
it's no difference than being at a corporate company when you can be and they can fire you
Yeah,
without any reason. They can let you go without any reason. It is no different. No different.
So you guys are speaking from straight experience. So this young man is what, 22, 23.
yeah, he's a young buck.
So y'all, I mean, what you expect? And then, as you said earlier, Coach T, a lot of the problem with today is that is a lot of individual ball going on. But Tennessee is one of the programs that really emphasize loyalty, team sports. team camaraderie and things like that. So now he comes to the Lakers. He's been that way. Okay, now I'm coming to the Lakers. This is my family. Now he's seeing the business side of it. So that's what's gonna make him hate the sport.
But that should be the forethought. It's a business first.
That thank you.
Your
It's like it's
feelings
your
second.
job. It's your job. It's your job. And one thing, and people used to feel some type of way until they started to understand when I used to say, I didn't come here to make friends. I came
Mm.
here to win. I came here to
So,
do the job.
so let me bring it on home. So that's just like if Angel would come on and say, Doc, we don't want you on the show anymore. I'm gonna feel a certain type of way because
As you
I don't have my
should.
family. That's what I'm saying. So that's the same thing about Dalton Connect.
Yes, and we're not saying to disregard his feelings at all. We're not saying that he should feel this way. I would feel this way. But
So,
on the flip side, I gotta grow up. I'm a
so
grown
what
woman.
y'all
This is
saying
this
is
this
y'all
is
just
a
money hungry.
business.
That what
We
y'all
money
just
No,
hungry.
money hungry.
no, it ain't about being money hungry, but it's about you gotta be tough in this environment. So you gonna have to tough it up and grow up and keep it moving.
Now
Because
listen,
life
Okay.
ain't fair.
I'm
Life
just
ain't fair.
it's not fair. And this is what I'm going to say before I move on to the next thing when we talk about fairness is what did Future say? Would you rather cry in the Maybach or in the Honda? Okay?
Mm.
I'm a cry in the Maybach every time. It crying in millions. Don't forget that part. But moving on to things that's not fair. Let's talk about the Bulls, okay? And how they need
Ooh.
to receive some form of a fine. There should be some form of something here. The Bulls were down at halftime to the Pistons, mind you, who struggled to win a game last year. Totally different Pistons team, new coach, some new players, Cade Cunningham just killing down there for the Pistons. But 71 to 29 at halftime on an NBA level, something needs to be done expeditiously.
Sound
Some
like an AAU score.
I mean, this can't be real. And I know the Bulls are kicking themselves for trading away Zach Levine for nothing. I mean, they received what did they receive? What did they
Mm.
receive? But Coach Mac, Coach Riley, 71 to 29. We should have at the practice the next day, it should have been their entire G League team there. It should have been a whole new 10, 10 set of guys from the G League ready to come play right that you guys are going to fight for your spot right now in today's practice.
That's one thing I have noticed about Chicago. They don't call up many G League players. I have not seen very many G League players, if any, if maybe one, two every so often, but they don't do a lot of call ups. They probably should, but no. I,
After
I
Well,
couldn't I couldn't I couldn't fathom that score. I couldn't believe that this was a professional team with a
I,
score such as this.
how?
well, what I'm gonna say is what Coach T just said. You making millions, just cry in millions, cry in your Maybach. You just keep getting your butt beat and don't have any emotions about it. Just cry and just move on.
Whew. As an organization, I would have had 10 new guys at the practice the very next day, and everybody is about to squabble it out for their spot. We're going 5 on 5, guard your yard. Okay, we not doing no, you guarding the person, that's who you guarded, and we about to run because 71 points. You give up 71 points and a half. Defense is about pure heart.
Bulls need to have
Well,
an open
well, you know
tryout.
what, Coach T, all that goes back to draft picks, management. I mean, putting a team roster together. They need to fire everybody in the front office, and then from there,
Do a
they
tryout.
will get some. They
Open
can hire
tryouts.
Talking Hoop staff. They can hire our staff. We can go put a team together.
No, something would need to be done uh, immediately, like you said, whether it's getting rid of the whole front office, something would need to be done. That goes beyond unacceptable. That is just absolutely beyond unacceptable. But what is acceptable, and we'll give a round of applause to Kevin Durant, who has now officially moved to the eighth spot on the all time scores list with over 30,000 points.
I got to tell you a story about Kevin Durant. That's great job, great job, great job, great job, KD. So watch this. So, and this is a true story. So, and I love KD. I just hate that he's not on a good team right now. Well, they
Mm-mm.
need some more players. But anyway, so we were at Nike All American camp. KD was rising senior, and the global director from Nike said, "Hey, Coach Riley, we're going to fly this kid in from Vegas. He was at Adidas camp to our All Star game in Indianapolis." So KD, well, I didn't know him at the time. He came in. Coach Riley said, "Hey, this is the kid. He's about 6'10", and then I said, skinny kid. I said, "What's up, young man? How you doing?" I said, "What position you play?" I said, he said he played a one. I said, "Look, dude, I don't have time for that. My one played in the paint because he was 6'10". I said, "My one played in the paint." I said, "I need you to get your butt in the paint. And look, we ain't playing that game." He said, "No, no, coach, I play the point." I said, "Dude, do you want to get back on the plane and go back to Vegas? Okay, you gonna play. You gonna be in the paint." So he jumped center, and we had a defensive stop. Came down the court that the people gave him the ball. I guess they knew him. I didn't know him. I called a timeout. Give me a timeout, timeout, timeout. Man, I went off on KD. Went off. Dude, what did I tell you to do? Didn't I say get in the paint? I don't need you dribbling this ball up the court. So watch this. So he did, yes, sir. 6'10", so deal asked him to do went down. And then we missed the shot, can't get back on D, and he somehow got a steal, went down, and the guy he went down dribbling. I'm about to call another timeout. Coach grabbed my arm. He went between the legs, crossed the dude over, spent, and went and dunked it. I said, "Oh my God." I called another timeout. I said, "Young man, I apologize. I apologize." And come to find out, I still got the roster, and then he's autographed me a pair of shoes and things. But anyway, I feel I love Kevin Durant, Derrick Rose. That's the time I got with Nike. During that time, they came out, all of them came out at the same time. But he is one of the greatest. I just feel sorry for him because he had a raw deal at Golden State. Now he getting a raw deal in Portland. So I'm not Portland, but
Phoenix. Yeah, Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Phoenix.
And that's a shame that they are the 11th place team on the West.
Yes.
For $450 million, the most expensive roster in NBA history, and you all are at 11th place.
Yeah.
Again, it's a major cause for concern, right? Like, what are we paying for? And I don't, and shout out to the St. Louis fans and our St. Louis people that watch the show, but I don't know how Brad pulled off the 100% protection of the no trade clause, that the only other player in the league that has that is LeBron James. How he pulled that magic trick off, I can't tell you. But
He
right
used
now,
the same book. He used the same book Rob Pelinka used on Nico.
this
That's the same thing. They
it
read from
was
the same book.
it was the same trick. It was the same trick. Now, what I find funny, and this is what a message somebody needs to let Dalton Connect know this, right? Okay, so in 2012, Steph Curry had an ankle injury. As we know, he's battled ankle injuries throughout his career. 2012, he played 29 games during the 2011-2012 season. After that season in 2012, the Warriors offered up Steph to the Bucks in exchange for Andrew Bogut.
Mm.
Okay. And that following year, the 2012-2013 season, Steph Curry turned around and averaged 23 points per game, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds. And as we know, it changed the entire history of the Warriors program. Now, it just goes to show you that everyone is always up to be traded. So again, this just ties me back. We didn't see if what if Steph Curry's ego would have been bruised and injured. We would have never seen, the championships that he acquired. So again, life is not fair, but everyone is always on the chopping block, and that's why I don't blame the players for doing what they feel is best when they have the opportunity as free agents to make those decisions, because again,
Coach T,
anybody is on the chopping block.
Coach T, that's just like comparing you and Coach Mac to me. So what happened? You can't compare Connect to uh, Steph Curry. Steph Curry is a superstar.
Even
Connect,
even even more reason why he need to suck it up and go and lace them shoes up. You
no,
know,
he doesn't understand. So he doesn't understand. So when you're a superstar, you have no option but to suck it up. So just like you guys are stars. You and Coach Mac, y'all are stars. Now, Coach Angel and myself, we're superstars. So what I'm trying to share with you is that
now
is
why
that
that couldn't be flipped? Me and Coach Mac, the superstars. You and Angel, the stars.
okay? Well,
Now go
we'll let
ahead.
y'all be superstars. But what
Yeah,
I'm
pick it
saying
up from
is,
there.
you guys, y'all have everybody is all eyes on you all. So it's either go perform or bust. It's not accepted or bust. So we can get in our feelings. You know what I'm saying?
Now, agreed, but Mr. Johnson just brought up a great point. He said Curry wasn't a superstar back then in 2012. Him and Connect were both lottery picks.
I,
Curry was just
but
known from what that from how he performed when he was at Davidson.
Yes,
I,
correct. But
the
About
only
like
thing
Connect.
he didn't play at a Power Five. He
Yeah.
said records. So he was just, his story was a little different. Uh,
mhm.
you know, he changed. Anytime you can change the game, he changed the game. You're right. He wasn't a superstar. He was an instant legend.
Mhm.
You're right. He was a
in,
straight legend.
in
So he
2012,
changed. Allen Iverson changed the game. Michael Jordan changed the game. Steph Curry changed the game. Kareem changed the game. Shaq changed the game. Your favorite player. So when you have guys like that, they are legends.
you see how he left out LeBron, but it's cool. It's cool. That's what the Mavs owner did as well. He said when you have guys, which I also thought was very distasteful, by the way, and I know we've talked about this, but for a guy who knows nothing about basketball to then turn around and say when you don't have guys with the work ethic like they want to win, and then you put Shaquille O'Neal's name as a comparison of guy who had the work ethic to win, like, sir, this further lets me know you know nothing about basketball. This was Kobe's greatest complaint about Shaq.
Mm.
Greatest complaint is that he would be 10 times better than what we already get to witness if he actually put the time and the work in. He was lazy.
That's why Kobe had such a problem with him.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. And so, I just think it's interesting. It's been interesting to see how things will shape up with the Mavs as they're threatening to possibly move the team to Vegas. The owners are, if the governor of Dallas does not allow gambling to become legalized.
You think a basketball franchise is going to dictate to the governor,
In
really,
Texas.
in Texas? Really?
Uh, that's what I said. Very wishful thinking, but I did read that I can't remember the woman's name that owns the team, but that she's
Miriam.
yeah,
Miriam.
that she's like the fifth richest person in the United States or something like that.
She is. She owns a lot of
Okay.
casinos. That's what she owns, and that's why they were trying to well, they talked about the team going to Vegas. Supposedly, the team is not moving. It's a Dallas team, so they're going to leave it in Dallas. That's what was said on the news. But yeah, we'll see. They traded Luca. If they trade Luca, they'll trade the team. So
They'll do anything, Coach
that's
Mac.
why everybody want the whole staff to go. Everybody get fired.
They'll do anything. They will do absolutely anything. Now, we are at our time. Any last closing statements, predictions? Actually, really quick, we'll go into just a quick couple minutes of bonus time. I wanted to get you guys' thoughts as we get closer to playoff time on the play in. Are you a fan of the play in or no?
Uh,
Listen what you're
no.
saying, Coach T.
Uh, First, let me get past the All Star weekend. Then, once I see how that goes, I might want to look at the playoffs. But I gotta see if this All Star game is gonna even be worth looking at.
I'm so
You might.
over the NBA right now. I'm over
Man,
it.
what you say?
Okay,
I'll watch women's basketball before I watch.
Wait a minute now. You should be
right.
watching that anyway.
Regardless. Mhm.
I'm saying I'll watch women's
Starting
basketball
starting
first.
in May. It starts in May. So get ready.
And from behind the glass, oh hail to the knob by Angel Martinez. Okay, not a fan of the plan. Well, we'll circle back. We'll circle back to playing, especially as we get closer to the seating and we see how things shape up. But we shall see, and especially after the playoffs, we shall see how things go. Excuse me, not playoffs, the All Star weekend. And let's see how that turns out for the NBA if viewership goes up and what we have to look forward to talk about on the show. But we have reached the end of our time. Thank you, everybody that tuned in to watch us here on Talking Hoops.
But
We will,
Coach T,
yes.
one thing. Please, y'all tell me about the game because I actually disconnected my cable until after the All Star week.
I'll
Oh,
make sure we
man.
chime you in.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. The 3-on-3 tournament, I'm not a fan, but we shall see. We shall see what happens. And lots to talk about next week, I'm sure. But that wraps it up. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will see you all next week.